Hey everybody, I'm back, and I'm tackling the 40 by 30 painting. I'm actually doing two in this video, and the second one is the one from the previous video I posted, and I will put a link to that if you want to see. So I'm doing this one too, is a 30 by 40 inch, and I'm in those middle layers, just being free, expressive, bold. And I oftentimes in the early stages of a painting I turn it a lot to help to bring balance to it, as well as just to get brush strokes going in a different direction and drips going in a different direction if I use drips, which I do fairly often. So here I am, I think I have a palette knife there, and I scratch through the underlayers, which you can see in that dark blue at the bottom. They scratched through. So I'm adding some more contrast here with this blue, the dark blue, which is a mix. It's probably, I can't quite remember what it was, and then I go over and lighten it, which is kind of a weird thing to do, but anyway, I'm sure I make it darker at some point. It's really strange watching me paint these videos, because I do some of the darndest things, but that's part of the intuitive process, and it's part of the fun. Just spreading paint around and trusting that it's going to all work out in the end. This too is one of the three that's going to a local art gallery early next week. So it did get finished, and it did look lovely in my opinion. Anyway, so here I am darkening it up again to add some contrast, and then just spreading more paint around. I'm using a big brush. It's like I don't know how you would describe it. It's like I think it's a natural bristle brush, and it's pretty fat. There is my palette knife again. Palette knives create great texture and great marks when you scratch through, and that's what I love about it. It also puts paint on in a thicker layer, and I often I don't know if I do it here, but I often put two colors of paint on a palette knife and then just swipe it across the canvas, and it gives kind of a cool effect. It's clear that I'm struggling some through this right now, but as I said in my previous video, like I am having fun. The music's going, probably pretty loud. In this one I know I played a lot of upbeat music, and yeah, there may be an odd dance step, although I don't know. I think I stand back to do that because I don't like dancing. Anyway, let's just forget about that one. So you can see a lot of it's really light right now. It needs some color. I'm sure I bring it in. Well, there's a bit of pink. And I get to a stage with this one where that's when I switch over to the other painting, because it gets too wet. And it just doesn't flow very well when it gets too wet, and if I were to start adding some complementary colors it would be muddy. So there I made some drips. I just use a water bottle, a spray bottle, and then now I'm putting some towel. It's that shop towel that you get at Home Depot over it, and what that does is it picks up the paint and it shows what's underneath, which is kind of a cool effect. Here I'm using actually, what do you call it, ink, acrylic ink, to make some drips, and in a minute you'll see I even make marks with it. I just put marks all throughout with the ink. I don't use ink in every painting, but I do use it fairly often. It's really a like the inks are very bright and very highly pigmented. So it's kind of cool. And there I was spreading some of it around with a scraper, or a shaper I think they're called. It's like a silicone flat brush. Now this is the painting from my previous video that had all the arms in it. So I'm back at this one. And even at the end of this video, these paintings are not done. I did record another video that will be released once I get it edited and whatnot. That I believe it shows the finished pieces. But if not, I'll have photos of the finished pieces at the end of it. But with that sort of medium blue, I'm trying to bring in some medium values. Except there I go again. I'm not scared of white. Well, it's not a pure white. I always mix my white with something, either burnt, not burnt sienna. What's it? Burnt umber, some orange. There we go. Now we're adding color. Atta girl. I'm still having problems with that nail in the wall. And yeah, so my whites are not usually, very seldom pure. Like I say, I use burnt umber, or I add blue, or whatever. Like I might add a bit of that orange color, and that orange is a mix. It's not totally, oh, there's a little dance move. It's not totally saturated. It probably has some of the blue in it and some of the burnt umber in it and whatever else is sitting on my palette. I really enjoy using my hands from time to time. I scratch my fingers into the paint, bringing up the underlayers, and it makes really cool marks. The beauty about painting in layers, for me anyway, is all the underlayers, that little bits of the underlayers that show up in the final piece. So even all these ugly underlayers are not well balanced anyway, and not good designs. There's the things that show up on the final piece, which just add a touch. They add so much interest, especially when you get up close to a painting. So I use various size brushes when I'm making marks. As you can see, just a few minutes ago I did the bigger brush with the blue marks, and now I'm in there with a smaller brush, just making, and that adds interest. It's the differences that count, especially in abstract. Different brush sizes, different palette knife sizes, different mark making tools. Anyway, I'm getting close to the end of this one here, but you can start seeing now it is kind of coming together. I'll be posting the finishing, the last layers, the final layers, probably later in the week or early next week. Anyway, I really appreciate you all being here. I hope you enjoy this. Please remember to comment and like, or consider it. You don't have to, but it would help me. And subscribe as well. And if you ring the bell, you'll get notified. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So, have a great day, and thanks a ton for being here. Bye-bye now.